Cleveland podcast. All things Cleveland sports with your host, John Suchan. And good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Johnny Cleveland podcast, here part of the Fanatical Elves Network. It's a Wednesday evening, 9 o'clock sharp Eastern. If you're watching us live tonight on Facebook, YouTube, or the X, you might notice we have a guest. And our guest is no other than my colleague I work with by day over at Licking Heights. Many of you know that I work over at Licking Heights, and my colleague, Troy Current, is a huge Cincinnati fan of all things Cincinnati. And so I have been begging Troy to come on the show for months, weeks, and I'm challenging him tonight to all of this, and I'm so excited to have him here. Welcome, Troy. How are you this evening?
John, I've been better. These Cincinnati Reds are gonna they're gonna make this even wider trying to get into the playoffs, I think.
So some of you know that we had scheduled to do the show at 7. Well, we got some technical things. We're on Riverside. Many of you know this. We were on a different platform, Troy, called StreamYard, and we've shifted over with the Fans First Network. And so Rod Bloom and his Browns Blitz was on earlier. Hope you all enjoyed that show and found out that we can't simultaneously record, even though we have separate studios. It all worked out though. Troy did his thing with his family. I did my thing with my family, and now we're ready to do this show. Troy, you are, first off, I want to your captain's hat. You have to explain that and your shirt.
Yep. So the captain's hat, Cincinnati Reds had to get it. Found it at a thrift store for $8, and I feel like I need to be like taking ownership over something, a boat, a podcast. I don't know yet. We're yet to figure it out.
Right? All I can think of is Gilligan's Island right now. Like that's all I can think of. I don't know. The captain. My goodness.
And then the shirt. I don't know if you can see it. Says Buckeyes on Saturday, Bengals on Sunday in the orange, because the Bengals own the state of Ohio, right? That's what we're here for.
I was going to start nicely and say, boy, the Buckeyes, the Bucks, big. We can agree on that. We both love the Buckeyes. They had a great game. It wasn't the greatest start. Some drops, and I was talking to my colleague Joel on the other show we did earlier this afternoon, and we were just talking about playing these big games like Texas and Ohio State, and how it was the first week 1 game at noon. The college players, they don't have preseason like the NFL, and there were just some things that didn't look very pretty. What did you think of that whole, like the first half? And
man, the first half was just a rough watch. And they even said in the broadcast, defenses are a little bit further ahead than the offenses. But man, there was Jeremiah Smith had a couple drops there, and that got me a little bit nervous. I was like, "Wait a minute, this is supposed to be our guy. What are we doing now?"
Yeah.
But I think to get on the board first set the tone for the rest of the game. I think that was, it felt like that defensive kind of battle, and we're like, "All right, first on the board, first gonna win."
Who was the second guy they brought in that scored the touchdown? Who was the running back? What was his last name?
I
can't remember.
I don't remember off the top of my head. I think I know Peoples is one of the running backs.
No, it's the other guy.
Was that him?
No, I think it was the other guy.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, it was a good start. What do you think of their new quarterback?
It's tough to judge. Like, that defense for Texas is going to be so good. So I don't really know how much of it was first game nerves. Playing against the number 1 team in the country, playing against a really good defense. I have a feeling we'll see some bigger numbers this Saturday for sure from out of him.
And I think that quarterback from Ohio State could be just as we talk about the Manning kid going, being drafted high. The Buckeye quarterback looked just as much, right?
I thought I was like, just because his last name's Manning, the only reason why he's getting this big of a hype, I think. Like, exactly. He looked rattled the whole game.
Well, coming back here to Columbus, and I hadn't lived here for years. I mean, I grew up north up in Worcester, and then living down here now, and just Ohio State just kind of controls everything. Like it's this town, this community. It's everything is Ohio State. It's
Yeah.
ginormous. So it's nice that the Buckeyes got off to a good start. Now, you didn't grow up here in Columbus. You grew up a little bit further west, and then tell us a little bit about how you became a Cincinnati fan.
Yeah, so born and raised in Xenia, so right near the Dayton area. So not too much sporting wise, except for the Dayton Dragons. So
Mm,
it was proximity for the Reds, it was proximity for the Bengals. And then from there moved up here to Columbus, and now Blue Jackets and Crew fan. So um, my parents were not huge sports fan. My mom likes watching the Bengals. She liked watching the Reds.
mm.
So we did a lot of that growing up. So that's where it just kind of started and kind of took off.
Well, I have an appreciation for Cincinnati, and I know we're talking about the Bengals and the Browns game coming up here in just a second. Growing up north, up in Worcester, I had friends that grew up in Cincinnati, so I told this story probably before, but I would go down to Cincinnati quite often to catch Reds games in the summer. We'd go down for a weekend series and stay at a nice hotel, usually where the players stayed. So like the Eric
Mm,
Davis, the Barry Larkins,
hmm
the Pittsburgh teams that it had Barry Bonds on it and Bobby Bonilla. So those are some of my favorite memories from the 1980s and early 90s.
Yeah, sorry. The stadium that they played in back then was pretty hot garbage. was
Yeah.
not
Well,
was
I
not the
have something to
greatest.
say about that. I mean, we're going to get into the whole game here in a second, but the Bengals, just what you just said, and now even the perception, I mean, outside of Cincinnati, well, even you have said this before to me, like, their practice facility is across the street. And, you know, um, you know, uh, their ownership, and they're just cheap, and they're making players like Boomer Esiason pay to come into their whatever they're having here during the
Their
season.
Ring of Honor thing, yeah.
Yeah, what do you think about that? Being a Cincinnati fan and
They,
Bengals.
gosh, they want to be this big market team, spend the money on the wide receivers and those kind of things. But I mean, just what, a year or so ago, they were selling old TVs that they took down out of the stadium for the Bengals games, and auctioning them off and all this kind of stuff. Like, no right-minded organization is going to be auctioning off old TVs that they've had out in the elements for years on years. And then to have a practice facility that they have to walk across the street to, that doesn't even have, like, it's underneath the 70-71 split. So
Right.
God forbid a car falls off of that and right into the practice facility. But then if you go in the winter, it's just a giant bubble, a giant white bubble that you see underneath the freeway is their practice facility. And it's just, what are you gonna do? I guess you like the team that you like, unfortunately, but
Well, they did make
um,
it to a Super Bowl most pretty recently, which is far
mhm.
better than our Brownies. Which, and we can get into that here in a moment.
And
By the way, we have some commentating. Um, you might know this guy.
oh yeah,
Uh, yeah. Um,
oh, Troy's face is hot garbage. How you doing, Tyler? Nice to see you, buddy.
we don't know Tyler. Do we know?
No,
Do we know Tyler? I don't know Tyler.
I
Okay.
don't know, Tyler.
Okay. Anyway, we appreciate everybody tuning in here to the Johnny Cleveland podcast, part of the Fans First and the Fanatical Elves Network. Make sure to download us, subscribe to us on Apple and on Spotify. And thank you to our folks who do our advertising for us, our Hemisphere Coffee Roasters who support us. And if you go buy their coffee, you give us back 15% of that. So thank you very much. All right, Troy, you are the super Cincinnati Bengals fan tonight. You are the biggest fan around, right?
I do my best.
I mean, I was
I
I was telling everybody in La La Land, social media, everywhere, that you are the guy.
my neighbors have heard the ups and downs of a playoff ridden season and a non-playoff ridden season, so that my neighbors know me well.
Tyler's chiming in. He's paying attention right now. All right, Michelin Man practice facility. Oh my God. All right, so the Browns play the Bengals to start the season in a few days.
Yep.
The Bengals are favored, 5.5-point favorites. And, listening to their coach this past week and the team, they're ready to, they have a lot of pressure on them, to perform. They got the best wide receiver who you picked up in fantasy league. By the way, you and I are competing against each other in this week's.
I was wondering if we were going to bring it up. There's a rivalry on the real turf, and there's a rivalry in fantasy land.
Why don't we talk about that toward the end? We'll throw that around a little bit.
Sounds good.
And all these new rules that keep popping up that our commissioner and I believe Tyler is creating. But okay.
Yeah.
All right. So going into this season, obviously Cincinnati has been one of the best teams in the AFC North. The Browns continually are up and down. Last year they were dismal, 3-14. In this game against Cincinnati is favored, but they're coming into Cleveland. Kevin Stefanski, the coach of the Browns and Cleveland, have a 6-4 record under his leadership. They're 4-1 at home. They've lost the last 3 though to your Bengals. How do you see this? Just a few days out initially.
Yeah, it's, I don't know. I know we talked about it in the office the other day about there's somebody on here that was roasting our defense, and I was like, listen, I've prepared myself for what this defense is going to experience.
That roast included calling your defense a bunch of preschoolers.
At this point, who knows what we're getting when we throw the defense out there? It could be Swiss cheese. It could be just a maze that's a straight line. It could be the easiest solved defense that you've ever seen. But I also think there's some wild cards on the defense. Like we went pretty heavy on the defense in the draft, and if any of those hit, like Stewart, I think is going to be a good get as long as he shows up. I know that we held out for a long time getting him a contract and Trey Hendrickson a contract. I think getting Trey back is huge. If I'm being honest, I kind of forgot that Sam Hubbard is out. Like he's retired and all this. I saw him do an interview the other day and he looked like he's in great shape, and they talked about him coming back, and he's like, well, if you make a Super Bowl run, I'll come back. Well, dude, like if you were back, the Super Bowl run would be a little bit easier, I think. Like, what are we talking about? So I don't know. Could some of these guys step up? I think it's Stone, the kid that we got from the Ravens, struggled last year. It felt like kind of getting into what the scheme of the Bengals are. So maybe he can turn it around on the backside of the defense. So I think there's a possibility of some surprises on the defensive side. Am I holding out hope? Not really.
Yeah.
It's this team is going to be predicated all around the offense.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No. I mean your offensive guys.
Yeah.
Chase, Joe Burrow, but now traditionally they haven't gotten off to great starts, correct? Over the last several seasons, it's been kind of a slow grind, and then they get going, but sometimes then it's just too late.
Yeah, I last year was a prime example. Like you can't start with that kind of hole in the NFL and expect to dig yourself out of it and be able to be a contender. And then Chase got hurt a couple of times, and it just, when you're predicated around the offense and your best player on the offensive side of the field that can spread the field out, it gets hurt, you're going to struggle even more. So it's going to be who can put up 60 first, it feels like.
You feel
in all
that
of
way?
our
That's
games.
what I was, because I know like right now Browns fans are looking and talking a lot, and we haven't played the game, that it's your defense that's really rocky and crap, but your offense, everyone is talking about that. Now we're, as Browns fans, we're also saying, well, Myles Garrett, what can he do? We haven't seen him really play this preseason. A lot of us are anticipating him doing well. He's done well against Joe Burrow and that offensive line in the past. He was toying with them a couple seasons ago.
Also a bunch of preschoolers. Yeah.
So, we had this run now, but to your Bengals credit, they've won the last 3. And I'm having knuckleheads that I deal with, that I talk to, Browns fans, not you here, but there are a lot of Browns fans who are trying to make this Cincinnati Cleveland game into more than it really has to be. Some of them are saying, well, the Bengals, own the Browns now. And I'm like, you do have a series lead, 55 wins to 48 losses, favoring Cincinnati. But if you look at the series over the long haul over decades, it's gone back and forth. And now Cincinnati's won the last three, but Cleveland had won the previous 5 or 6 out of the last 7. So
Yeah, it's one of those things that like when you're a market like Cincinnati,
mhm,
the fact that we still have Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase on our roster is crazy to me.
mhm,
We've never spent money like this.
mhm,
Um, so you're going to have those ebbs and flows, but the problem is in the NFL, if one of those weapons goes down,
mhm.
you're going to be in tough shape. And it felt like they've um, tried to bring in some people that can be
Okay.
backups for these guys on the offensive side. Like if something goes bad, we can plug people in, but um,
How?
we're
Yeah.
so predicated on the offense that they have to show up every week.
Cleveland fans this week, we've anticipating this game. There's been, more excitement, but there's also this narrative the last couple of days that the stadium isn't even sold out for the game. There's thousands of seats available at a pretty good value, and there's just not this buildup because we got Joe Flacco, the guy who's 40 years old, coming off the couch, and we want to, the rookies now have been kind of demoted. Where Shador Sanders, all the hype over the spring for Cleveland has kind of subsided. So there's not a lot of buildup for this season. Some people in Cleveland are talking that this is really just truly a rebuild. Cleveland has had they've on their 53-man roster they've brought in 5 or 7 guys now, undrafted free agents that are on the 53-man roster, which has never happened under the ownership of the team. So we're kind of trying to figure out as Browns fans, should we be excited? We're coming off a 3-14 season. You as a Bengals fan, you guys have, like, again, traditionally have been there toward the end. Are you anticipating all of that happening again?
I mean, I think we have to. I think with the amount of money we spent, we have to expect that. But I also think the division's so good. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Baltimore's going to be who Baltimore is. I mean, your Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson are going to do what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Pittsburgh's going to be a wild card, but Mike Tomlin's never had a losing season, so you got to expect that that's going to stay true to form. So is it a 3-man
So when
playoff
you're
roster out of this division, or is it just
when
going to be Baltimore?
So when you're a Bengals fan, obviously you don't root for the Browns, but do you as a truly as a Bengals fan, do you think about the Browns? Or you worry about the Browns at all? This, like, especially right now going into this season, do you feel like they could be contenders, or do you think they're more of that 3-14 team?
I It's hard not to see him that way. If I'm being honest, I mean, like we said, this is a very strong division, and who do you play the most? Your in division people,
Mm-hmm.
and so if I'm looking at it in all honesty, I think it's Bengals, Ravens, 1A, 1B,
Mm-hmm.
Pittsburgh, and Cleveland below them. And again, I just think there's not enough scary weapons on
Mm-hmm.
Cleveland's team to be like, hey, I'm going into this and I'm hoping we win. I'm
You're
going
not
into
scared
this
of
like
Jerry Judy.
we're the
You're not scared of Jerome Ford, running back.
no. I'm
You're
not I'm
not
not
scared of
worried. I'm not worried
David
about a guy
Njoku,
who
the tight
has
end.
2 first names. I'm good with Jerry Judy. He can.
Hey, but we have Isaiah Bond, who went undrafted from Texas now, who's going to change the world at wide receiver.
John, you could have said any name there and said he was undrafted out of Texas. I'd have been like, sure, he's on your 53-man roster. I have no idea who Isaiah Bond is. Maybe I'll pick him up this week and throw him
Yeah,
in and see what
yeah.
I can get out of him.
Hey, Tyler, thanks for your comments again. What a great guy this Tyler is. He's commenting on our show. He is really invested in the Fanatical Elves Network and fans first. Thanks again, Tyler.
Hey, comments boost the algorithm, Tyler. We
Yeah,
appreciate it.
Tyler's predicting 5 wins. Okay, so I did a whole spiel for the Brownies. Tyler, if you're listening, I did pick the Browns to win 9 games this season, and Vegas odds actually have if the Browns win 8 games or more, it's like plus 350. So you might want to put a little wager down there if you're a Browns fan, because I feel like they could definitely get to 8 wins if they play their cards right.
Who's the division that we're playing that's outside of our own this year?
We've got the NFC North, so Green Bay, Chicago, Detroit.
Yeah.
And then we play the 49ers again at home. We start with you guys. We go to the Ratbirds and play in Baltimore. By the way, Ratbirds, I think I might have told you this off air before, but the Ratbirds, the disgusting organization that they are celebrating their stealing of the Cleveland Browns team back in 1996 with a celebration of their own in week 2 when Cleveland comes to play them. They're having this spectacular spectacle to honor 30 years of winning football with the Ratbirds. So I hope that organization, goes in the toilet. I'm being nice right now. I could be, but I think Tyler's watching, so I don't want to swear.
If I'm being honest, John, I didn't listen to a thing you said because the Reds are now down. The Reds are down 12-6. They gave up 4 runs in the 8th inning. I hate being a Reds fan. I hate it. We're wasting Elly De La Cruz. Terry Francona doesn't even know what he's doing anymore. He's sitting on a boat seat in the middle of a dugout. What are we doing as an organization? This is the crash out, John. This is
you were up 5-0 in that game against the Blue Jays, dude. Like
5-0 in the second inning, John.
5-0 in the second. I know. I was. Yeah. Well, I didn't monitor it until you texted and said that you were, in a meltdown, off air. So it's 12-6.
We gave up 8 unanswered after being up 5-0.
When you lose tonight, it's going to be 500, 70 wins, 70 losses.
We were half a game out of the playoffs.
But this is better.
Now we're 6.
Now this is better than previous seasons for you guys as Reds.
Correct? Yeah, by now we would have been out of it.
Correct.
But
so come on now, look at this positively. You're making progress,
John. Elly De La Cruz is going to be a New York Yankee in 2 weeks.
Counseling jargon here.
I love and hate sports, John. I love and I hate.
Well, that's something you're very passionate about, and that's why I knew Troy would be a good guest for us here on the Johnny Cleveland podcast. Okay, let's pause for a quick commercial break. Again, this is the Fanatical Elves Network. We'll be right back. And we're back here on the Johnny Cleveland podcast, part of the Fanatical Elves Network. And we've got our special guest, Troy Current, who is my colleague by day at our workplace. And now he's our special guest because Troy is a diehard Cincinnati Bengals fan. I have a few trivia questions up my sleeve, see how knowledgeable he is really of Cincinnati sports trivia. Plus, now, one thing that all Cleveland fans, well, all Ohio fans you either love it or you hate it. And I think you know where I'm going here. It's food.
Yep.
Cincinnati chili. Now,
yep.
I'll begin by saying that, I grew up in Worcester. I had those friends of mine who came from Cincinnati. So they introduced me to homemade Cincinnati chili that the mom made. When I was a youngster, about 13 years old, 14 years old. And so I grew up next door to a family that loved Cincinnati chili. You go into their house and it was just that smell. That Cincinnati chili smell, which I adore. Love it. My wife currently hates it, but that's okay. So tell me about your love affair for Cincinnati chili.
Let's start with the hate. Gold Star chili can kick rocks. They're terrible. Sorry if they're a sponsor of the podcast, John. But Gold Star chili gets 0 out of 5 stars, and should never be purchased by anybody ever again. Skyline Chili is the far superior Cincinnati chili establishment. Always will be, always has been. You got to go with a classic cheese coney. They spice it up a little bit with the extreme cheese recently. That's been a game changer. They now have chicken chili.
Chicken chili?
I don't know what that's about. The last time I went in there, they gave me a bowl to preview it, and it didn't taste any different than the regular chili. And the waitress came back over to me and said, "How'd it taste?" I said, "Great." and she took them all away, and that was it. I was like, it doesn't taste any different, man. But if you're going to the restaurant, you got to get a three-way. You got to get the spaghetti down, the chili, and then the cheese on top, and you got to eat a little bit of the cheese first.
Okay, this is important because see, I didn't know any of this until you started telling me about this years ago, and even my wife, who went to the University of Cincinnati, she started telling me about some of the stuff you're getting into. This is important. So if you're a lover of food and connoisseur of food, and you want to try some Cincinnati chili, pay attention here. Okay.
So Skyline chili is far superior. So anywhere in the state that you go, don't go to Gold Star. Gold Star is the worst. But if you go into the restaurant, you got to get the three-way. Yeah. Some people like the four-way. Some people like the five-way. Again, we're talking about food, guys. We're talking strictly about food. But if you're in there and you're eating the spaghetti and you twirl the spaghetti on your fork you're eating regular spaghetti, I will personally drive to wherever you are and kick you out of the restaurant.
It's that serious.
The plate is shaped like a football.
Right.
So you spin it so the point is looking at you. You cut through the spaghetti, through the cheese, through the chili, and then you scoop.
Facing you?
Yeah, you point it so it's facing you. You cut down with the fork, you scoop it up, and then you eat it. And you just keep cutting sections off, and you scoop it. No twirl, no twist, none of that ballerina stuff. No ballerina stuff. No, because then you're not getting the whole thing. You're not getting the whole. You're not getting the whole experience. You need the spaghetti. You need the chili. You need the cheese.
Now, you like it the three-way?
Oh yeah. So, I'm not a big onion guy. So when you start getting into the other ways, you start getting into onions and beans and all that stuff.
Is the beans.
Yeah. I keep it simple.
Now there are local Cincinnati chili establishments here in the Columbus area where we live. Where have you gone to this fine dining experience recently, or have you?
Yeah, so my wife was out of town at one of our coworkers' weddings, and I took full advantage of it because she also doesn't like being from Cincinnati. She's not a big fan of nope, she is not a big fan.
Wow.
Nope, she doesn't really like it too much. But so whenever she's out of town is when I take advantage of it.
Okay. So no Gold Star.
No.
Only Skyline. Okay.
Nope.
Oyster crackers, right? You got
oyster crackers are great. But here's the tip, though.
Okay.
If it's a full cracker, you break the middle a little bit, you squirt a little hot sauce in it, you eat it, hot sauce and an oyster cracker.
So you like the hot? I've seen that too. So the hot sauce is okay.
That's the trick. Plus, if you cut and scoop, you put a little one of those hot sauce filled oyster crackers on top. You take a bite.
Now there are a couple of establishments in Cincinnati. There was one near the University of Cincinnati campus that a couple of years ago, like right when the pandemic was starting up, or maybe it was right before then, I took my kids, my two older sons, down there, and we found a more original, not the Skyline.
Yeah, there's a blue ash chili.
It wasn't blue ash; it was another one. It was like Johnny's or Jerry's.
Yeah,
or something.
I think Johnny sounds right. Yeah. There's been a couple of times that like Guy Fieri, my idol, my Flavor Town savior.
Oh, yes.
He's done a couple of those like mom and pop establishments down there for the Cincinnati chili. But
Troy in his office when I first started working over at Licking Heights. By the way, I do want to give another shout out to Tyler, who did say at one point that he is our colleague too, and he is a legend. Yes, you are, Tyler. You are the legend. Okay, back to the show. So when we started working together, or I started working there, and I first met Troy, and in his office, so I've watched the Food Network forever, and I love Diners, Dive-Ins, and Drives. Every Friday night comes on. You feel comfortable, like you turn it on, and it's like it's just like I'm where I need to be. So when I walked into Troy's office, I'm not kidding you, folks. He has the most ginormous flag photo of Guy Fieri, whatever.
Fieri, yeah.
Yeah, right behind his desk. It goes from one side of the wall all the way to the other side of the wall. It's amazing, folks. You should just go to his office just for that.
Just hop on in.
Right? There are people that just show up, and they're like, I've seen other people come in there like, oh my God. I see it every day, but it is something, it is a spectacle.
And you would be surprised actually how big it is. There's been people who have come to my office who've been there multiple times, and they look up and they're like, "When did you put that up?" Like, it's been here forever, guys. Like, this is not a new thing.
He's also a Danny DeVito fan.
There's just something about that guy that just makes me laugh. I don't know if
He has
it's like
ginormous signage of Danny DeVito as well.
I need to put it back on my window so when people walk into the building, they just see his face looking back at them. I've moved it for a little bit, but I think I need to move it back.
Put a sign that says next to it says "Welcome to Licking Heights High School" because we don't have any signage.
That'd be perfect signage right there.
Anybody knows where they're going, so maybe that's the trick.
It'll be like our new mascot. We'll just say "Welcome to Licking Heights, home of the Danny DeVitos."
That's right. It can't be any better than the what's our rival, the Johnstown Johnnies.
Oh yeah, the Johnstown Johnnies, that are very close to the Fredericktown Freddies.
Is that true?
Mm-hmm.
The Frederick. Now, one other thing before I get into the Cincinnati trivia, that it's kind of Troy also has a collection of. You have a real like of minor league baseball.
Yep.
You collect baseball caps of 1,000 different teams out there.
Mm-hmm. And all of
favorites?
their I just got a new one. So the Somerset Patriots, who are a minor league baseball team over in New Jersey, put out a thing that they are now on an alternative night, the Jersey Diners. So the mascot on the front is just a cup of coffee. And on the back, it says Diners in the whole old like bulb light stuff that you would see on the outside of buildings. The other one that I like is the Chattanooga Lookouts. They've just got like two big eyes right in the middle of their thing there. And then probably my third favorite one right now is the Rochester has a team. I don't remember what their actual team name is.
Rochester,
but they had a alternative night where they were the Rochester Coco Locos, and it is a pina colada drink in a coconut shell on the front of their hat there. So yeah, I got quite a few of those. My wife says that at least I'm addicted to minor league baseball hats and not some kind of hard drug. So we're winning in that realm at least.
Oh, it's fantastic. Now the Dayton Dragons, you mentioned them earlier. They're a local team over there in Dayton. We actually have my daughter-in-law, and they're getting married here this next year, but they live there in the Kettering area, and we thought about going to see a game with them at some point here. But you've gone to some of their games.
Oh yeah, they do. Their production stuff is fantastic. If anybody on here is a Reds fan, I was going to Dayton Dragons games when Jay Bruce was there, when Adam Dunn was there, Johnny Cueto was down there for a little bit. I saw Adam Dunn hit home runs off of buildings that were outside of the stadium. It was crazy to watch. But they do a great job. I think they're on like a 14-game win streak right now. Going into tonight.
That's a lot.
And yeah, and they've also set some kind of attendance records for minor league baseball. I forget what the actual record is, but I know that they've set some records in attendance and that kind of stuff down there too.
You know, they got the University of Dayton over there. You know, fans are into their sports, so it's a nice spread out little community. Tyler continues to thank you, Tyler, for all of your comments. Did you see the Clippers and CBJ mashup? Do you know what he's referring to there?
I don't know, but I'm intrigued.
Explain further. All right, Tyler, or Troy, not Tyler. Tyler's not on the show. It's Troy. Okay, so I have some trivia.
Okay,
you ready?
Like I said, I don't know if it's before 1986, John. I'm going to struggle. We're just putting it out there.
Oh, let's see here. All right, here we go. I got some. We're gonna do a drum roll. All right, first question. I'm giving you softballs here. All right.
I appreciate it.
All right. The question is of Cincinnati Bengals all-time passing yards leader.
Ooh.
Passing yardage leader. All time.
My initial thought is I want to go Boomer Esiason because That's like the first real quarterback I remember from the Bengals.
You're
But
close.
but I think it predates him.
Yes.
Shoot, John. Who was it before Boomer Esiason?
See, this is during my time. I
Um,
got a few years on you.
Ken Anderson.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
32. Wait, hold on a second. Here, we got the. Here we go.
Ooh. Oh, yeah.
Sound effects, everybody. All right. I'm just getting used to all these sound effects. It's so fun. All right. So number 2 was Andy Dalton at 31,594, and then I think it was Boomer who was third. Okay, who all-time Cincinnati Bengals player has the most touchdowns ever in his career? What Cincinnati Bengals player has the most touchdowns?
Wow. Is it? Oh, early applause. Yeah, I got it right.
You got it right. Way to go, Troy. Hold on a second.
Oh, it's still going.
It's still going. There's 36 more seconds of that. All right.
Now I'm going to get it wrong, and they're going to look like
who
losers.
has the most touchdowns in Cincinnati Bengals history?
I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I don't know if it's actually him, but I just like him a lot. Chad Ochocinco.
Not bad. You were very, very close. Was his first name Chad?
Yeah, Chad Johnson.
Chad? Yes, he was close. He was second. 66 touchdowns. Number 1 was Pete Johnson, who played between the years 1969 and I think 1983. He had 70 touchdowns. He was a running back. And third on that list, any guesses on who was third? You might know this guy.
Ooh. Is it Jamar Chase already?
No, not yet. AJ
Green.
AJ Green. Green. There you go. That's all I got, Troy. There's your trivia. Way to go.
Hey,
wait a second. We got to do the cheering again. Wait.
Oh, wait, I got it wrong, John. You got to give me some boo.
Wait.
You got to keep me humble.
Where's the boo? Wait. Here, I'll just start laughing.
There we go. I did look up the Blue Jackets and the Clippers collaboration that is happening tomorrow night.
Oh.
The hats are pretty sweet.
What are they doing? What's the collaboration there?
So they're taking the CBJ Ohio State flag like swoosh.
Yeah.
And wrapping it around the Clippers boat that they have on their logo. And the hat's got the C through it with the Clippers.
Okay. Wow.
Pretty cool.
All right, Troy, we're going to wrap things up tonight. Now, with this Bengals game coming up, want to know what your predictions are in the game and your outlook on the Bengals season and what you think is going to happen. And maybe we can talk again toward the end of the season, because I think the Browns and the Bengals finished the season playing each other down in Cincinnati in January.
So predictions for the game this Sunday. I think Jamar Chase scores 3 touchdowns. T. Higgins gets a touchdown, and the Bengals end up winning 42-6. The Browns miss an extra point.
Wait a second. You said 42-6?
Yeah.
Boo. What? Now I would really laugh and boo even harder, but the Browns only averaged 15 points a season ago. So you might not be that far off. We're all hyped here in Cleveland because, it's the week 1 and, we have hope, but hope doesn't win you football games, does it? I think our coach Wallen told me that before.
But I think for the season, I think for the Bengals, I think it's got to be playoffs or bust. I think when you spend this kind of money and you keep the stars that you wanted to keep, especially in the wide receiver room, and then bringing back Trey, I think you've got to. I don't want to say this, but I think it's going to happen. If the Bengals miss the playoffs, Zach Taylor's gone.
Okay.
I really do. I think
is this for him? 5?
7. I was reading this.
7.
Yeah, I was reading about it earlier because I was trying to figure that out. He's like he's like one of the longest tenured head coaches in the NFL right now at
But
7.
don't you want consistency? That's what the Browns fans talk about with coaches.
I mean,
Yeah.
there we go. I mean,
Okay.
I do want consistency, but I also like if you're not able to get him to the playoffs with the caliber of stars that we were able to keep this offseason, what are we doing? He's had some questionable coaching stuff in the past, and I just think that they're gonna be like, hey, like we gave you all this talent. Sure, the defense isn't God tier, but
Mm-hmm.
their bodies on the field. You got to make do, and you got to make the offense do what you expect them to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I really do. I think if he doesn't make it to the playoffs, I think the hot seat and a firing is right around the corner for him.
Wow. Okay. Well, I definitely don't think the Browns are going to lose 41-6. I do have the Browns
John,
winning.
if you had to predict those 6 points, are they 2 field goals, or or is it a touchdown and a missed extra point? If you had to predict.
How about? Well, no. Can we do 3 safeties on Joe Burrow
I
and
mean,
Myles
with
Garrett?
our offensive
Myles
line, I wouldn't be
Garrett?
surprised.
No, I don't know. No, I think it's gonna. I don't think it's gonna be high scoring. I don't. I think it's gonna be low scoring. I think there's gonna be a lot of just players not playing their best in this first game.
Yeah.
And both teams getting off to a slow start. I do think the Browns are going to win. I think it's just because it's a home game. And I think Joe Flacco Mania, he's thrown now. This will be, if he can go over 300 yards, it would be 6 games where he's gone over 300 yards, or maybe even 7 now in a row since he's played for the Browns. Then we're dating ourselves going back to 2023. So he has a little, obviously things have changed a little bit since he played with the Colts last year and everything. But I think Joe Flacco will help in this game, especially just because of his veteran presence. We'll give,
Oh yeah, for
and
sure.
we'll give the Browns an opportunity to score more than 15 points. And for God's sakes, more than 6 points.
Can't believe John, over under
You're
before we see Shedeur.
Like, I only say this because I know you, but
over under before we see Shedeur. Is it in the first game? Does he make an appearance?
Come on. No. We were talking about this earlier. We think
a goal line situation you put him in.
Yeah. Okay.
Little tush push.
Yeah, tush push for Shedeur. I will say this though. I don't know if you caught the clip. This is totally not with the Bengal stuff, but Johnny Manziel, who is irrelevant and just a moron, decided to start bashing the Browns again. He was on a podcast this past week with Braylon Edwards, of all people, who's also an idiot, used to play for the Browns, went to the university up north, and they were both bashing the Browns, saying how they would win. Started with Braylon saying how he would leave after games to just get the hell out of Dodge, and then they would come back.
Good culture guy there.
Johnny would follow by saying how he was, doing the same damn thing, and then smoking a couple, joints in the parking lot airport, waiting for his ride to go back to Vegas. So just good stuff by Johnny. And then he says he hopes that the Browns go 0-16 forever in his career. I'm like, just go away, just go hide, just go into a box, go, just dig yourself a grave, man, because Browns fans are going to come find you and harm you if you keep bashing us like that. Anyway.
Oh, I haven't heard that name, Johnny Manziel, in a long time. Well, so thank you for bringing him back up.
I don't know, 10 years ago, whenever he was playing, I was out there in Kansas and stuff, and I bought into all that stupid hype. The thing is, like, now, and I know people with this whole Shedeur talk, it brings it up because Shedeur is another hot name that, the media has kind of promoted, and Dion is the dad. But, at least I believe, and I moving forward, that Shedeur is not that kind of character that Johnny Manziel is, all these things that he's exhibiting. So I at least think that, down the line, we'll see. I don't know. Shedeur you were talking about, playing. I definitely think he will play because we all know the history of Browns quarterbacks. I think this is number 40 now. The Browns will have started 40 different quarterbacks since 1999.
long back of the jersey that you guys are going to have there.
And so it definitely will happen. I think a lot of us believe, and I don't know what you think about the two rookies, but Dylan Gabriel is definitely a lifetime backup. And so the real question is, can Shedeur be that guy, or is he also just going to be a backup and a reserve in his career? Most of us think that he has more upside, but doesn't always mean that they're going to get there. What do you think about that?
I'm with Tyler down in the comments. Dylan Gabriel is the future.
Is that what he's saying?
Yeah, and then he immediately followed up with just kidding. No, I think
you are a legend, Tyler.
I think there's I think you're right. I think Shedeur has more of an upside. I think Dylan is Gabriel's just a kind of a tough read on how he's going to do in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you do have some of that upside with Shedeur that could come with some maturity, with some more experience of NFL football. I think getting out of his dad's shadow is going to be difficult. But I think that if he can ride behind Joe Flacco for a little bit, I think he could blossom into a decent NFL quarterback.
Yeah, I agree.
But he's got to be willing to listen to a veteran, and I had some kids coming out of college are willing to do that, and some aren't. So
yeah,
just depends on how he takes the leadership and advice that he gets.
Well, Troy, very nice having you on the show. Final thoughts today from a Bengals Cincinnati fan before we let you go.
Just, I think it's going to be an exciting season. The NFL is always a blast to watch. Always fun
fantasy.
Always fun to beat you in week 1 of fantasy. That'll be nice.
Am I bringing the donuts? No, wait. Tyler,
no, Tyler is 100% bringing the donuts this week. His tight end is the worst. So we're doing this rule where we're taking a position player. You're putting up your whoever you want position wise. Lowest point total from that player has to buy donuts for the rest of the guys in the league.
And the loser, which was me, gets to wear a mighty large pink loser fantasy league
highlighter pink.
Yeah, which our beloved colleague and legend made sure that I wore. It reminds me every day that
I have it hanging in my office.
I missed a day or two.
It's hanging up in my office, John. Keeping it warm in the closet for you,
right
buddy.
Under the Guy Fieri.
Yep. He's smiling upon it every day.
Well, I look forward to beating you both in fantasy league this week, and my team.
You got to have Justin Jeffries. If he's out, it's game over for you.
Dude,
I think.
Is he out? I haven't looked at the latest projections.
I looked, and he's still listed as questionable. So I don't know.
Damn it!
I don't know what they're doing there. But like I said, Jamar Chase is putting up 3 touchdowns, so it doesn't matter if Justin's going to be there or not.
The reason he says this, folks, is because he has Jamar Chase as his wide receiver.
Hey, we also got to talk about
here's what's going to happen. Denzel is going to pick you off. Going to pick off Burrow twice, one in front of Jamar, and take it back for 6, kind of like he did several years ago. It could happen.
Yeah, no.
You know it.
No.
You know it.
But we also got to talk about, John, before we wrap up, the amazing comeback by this guy right here in Penn's Bowling.
Oh, yeah.
To get the number 1 overall pick. I started off like garbage. Like we were talking about earlier at the beginning, it was real bad for this guy. And then I came back.
I mean, literally, folks, there were preschoolers rolling the ball next to him, and our dear colleague, our legend too, Tyler, he didn't struggle in his attempt. But Troy, on the other hand, he struggled, but then somewhere deep inside his soul, in his, he turned it around. He got focused.
I hit a couple strikes, hit a couple spares. And then in the 10th frame, I hit another strike, and I turned around and I hit him with the legendary Pete Weber line. Who do you think you are? I am. As loud as I could in the middle of Penn's.
It scared everybody. The little preschoolers ran for their lives.
It was awesome.
But we got free food out of it. We got free, these people that was a birthday party.
That was
giving out free food. We had pizza. We had subs. It was
John, you're missing the best part. The way we got the food was incredible.
Oh yes, explain.
We were waiting for our lanes to open up, and we're just sitting there, all of us just shooting the breeze, just going back and forth at each other. And this guy out of nowhere goes, "Hey!" And we're all like, we all jump out of everything that we're wearing. And he goes, and I'm not even kidding you, in this level of voice, in this loud arcade place, "You guys want some food?" Like, dude, you could have just calm it down. Just calm it down just a little bit, my guy. That's like, just give it, let it breathe a little bit. You could just tap one of us on the shoulder.
It was comical to the point where, I mean, because it scared the bejesus out of everybody.
Oh my gosh.
In the house. It was really
oof.
Yes.
It was jarring for sure. And then he's like, "Hey, you want some Jersey Mike's or some Jets pizza?"
Right.
Like,
right.
Okay, my guy, sure.
Yeah. It was a great evening. Troy did win the battle of the pin bowling there, and we will battle it out, the two of us, where he will not win this week. And Ja'Marr Chase will not have any touchdowns. And Joe Burrow will be trying to still come out of the ground at Cleveland Browns Stadium after Miles buries him 6 feet under.
He's definitely going to get a couple of sacks. You can definitely chalk that up.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite comment of the night, though, Tyler Hinnon, 99 on the Sky Bridge. We've got a fight. We got a fight on the Sky Bridge. We got to get going, John.
What?
On Facebook, you put 99 in the Sky Bridge.
I just saw that.
Yeah, we got to fight. We got to go get it.
You got to jump and go.
We got security duties.
They switched spots. Troy. So last year we have a double first, second floor, and Troy here has the ability to scare the bejesus out of everybody with his loud, boisterous voice. So I was on the first floor last year. I didn't have that ability to skedaddle the kids. So this year now he's downstairs, billowing and pushing the kids out. So yeah,
it's like herding cats some days, John.
I just say fight. I just get on the mic and I just say fight. And people are like, "What the hell?"
Fight. Like, all right, we're going somewhere.
What's he say? Oh, that's right. It's 99. There's just too many things. And all of our wait. Tyler, what are you? Are you 18?
Yep.
I know who 27 is.
Yep. And then he followed it up with breaking up the fights as Buddy the Elf.
There we go. Did you see that?
I did that last year too. That was on Instagram.
Yep. We have fun at Lincoln Heights High School.
We have a blast.
Great kids. And I'd encourage you, if you do try to find the entrance to Lincoln Heights High School, look for the Danny DeVito sign. We're going to add a little lingo to there, say welcome to Lincoln Heights. That's in the works. We're going to be talking to our school district folks to see if we can get that done.
Just some signage.
I'm sure our admin and our legendary admin there, Tyler, will help out with all that. Troy, very good to have you here. I'm getting you and Tyler's names mixed up because he's on I'm talking to you both. So thanks again for joining us here on the Johnny Cleveland podcast and the Fanatical Elves Network. We'll have to have you come on. And of course, I think Tyler's really yearning to come on now because he's participated so much in this commentary. So
hey, anytime you guys want to talk winning football, I'll be around.
Excellent. Go Browns. Go Browns. And as we always say here in the Johnny Cleveland podcast, keep smiling. Take care, everybody. Have a great evening. Maybe if I can find my exit music, or maybe not. Maybe we'll just keep talking.
Just play that long clapping, John.
Let's just go out. Let's go out with the clap. Let's go.
Yeah.
Here we go.